ain't sleeping till Hollywood. We ain't sleeping.
Hello. You are listening to the No Sleep Till Hollywood podcast. We're not sleeping until we make it in Hollywood. And while we're up, we will be discussing the state of the industry and our place in it. It's your girl, Gaelyn Smith.
It's your boy, McDonald. And, you know, we've talked a lot. Season 2 is definitely full in effect. Couple episodes in.
Hot strike summer, hot strike season.
and we have been talking about the industry a lot, the state of the industry, but we haven't talked about our place in the industry this season. So this week is what you could call our reintroduction.
Or as Uncle Clifford would call it. Oh, dang, I can't even make that joke no more. Man. I need the I need the people to come back to the negotiating table ASAP because I was about to make a great joke, but I can't. So it's our reintroduction. We're just going to have to leave it there.
Right.
See
Disclaimer, the studios have taken jokes from us.
They've literally taken jokes from us. We can't even make jokes anymore. This is sad. But yeah, guys, good things are happening. Exciting things are happening in both of our careers. There are developments that we wanted to talk about, share with you all. Honestly, get to discuss a little bit because we get to send text messages, but we don't get to really talk anyway. So y'all are really just here for the catch up, and then you just benefit from the catch up. But if we're going to start it off for any of our new listeners, anybody who's just dropping in right now, Caleb, who are you? How do you define yourself? Those things.
And I know how to answer this time.
Stop.
So
you know.
If you know, you know. Hello. As I introduced in the first minute of this podcast, my name is Caleb McDonald.
Mm-hmm.
I am a creative, but definitely strongest as a writer, comedian, and writer comedian. I think that's who I am at my core. If I'm trying to elevator pitch myself, that I can do any little thing that anybody needs.
I think you were also a podcaster. That is a very accurate thing that you can say and claim as you are.
That's probably the most active thing I have.
There really was a point for both of us where it was the podcast was the entertainment industry. That was all we were doing. It's we were working trash jobs. But we're we have this podcast where we talk about movies, and therefore we are in Hollywood.
That's sort of what I do. I am from the New York area.
You didn't want to say New York this time? You didn't want to say?
I don't know what I could claim anymore because I'm a nomad, if I'm being honest.
Because I do be every time you say New York, I do laugh at you. I do.
I'm from Syracuse.
Ew.
That's supposed to be my new. I'm from upstate New York, guys.
It's Queens, upstate New York.
No, Queens is not.
That's why I was wait a second. No, I was Queens is still below.
That was a continuation of the Syracuse joke.
Oh, okay. Because sometimes people say, I forgot what part of what show of the boroughs do people say is basically upstate. I feel people make the joke about or is it everything above the Bronx is upstate or something like that is the joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all know I don't do New York City. I don't know nothing about this chair.
Let me find out somebody's from Westchester.
That doesn't even sound like a real place. Every time someone says it, I'm just you sure? That sounds like it's supposed to be in Connecticut or something. I don't know.
But yeah, I do just want to tell jokes and write some really compelling stories that make people think and start a conversation every year.
We love that.
Who are you? How would you?
Yeah. I would definitely say if we put them in the order of things that I feel are active at this moment, I'll say content creator to include podcasting, but y'all also know I'm very active on TikTok as well. Actor. I am currently in the Drunk Shakespeare Society for Washington, D.C., playing Lady Macbeth. There's something else that we can't talk about yet, but there's coming. So the acting thing is very, very popping and moving right now. Content creator, actor, writer, definitely writing. We have challenges, we have days, we have moments, but we're in an upswing right now. I am working. Oh my god, we'll get into it in a second. But I have my pilot that I'm working on. I finally like refixed it, and I think now I rebroke it in the way that's going to work. So a writer, yeah, like those are like the big ones. Content creator to include podcasting because I think it's just easier to say it that way. Actor,
Right.
writer, producer as well. I am the co-producer of the pod. But yeah, I feel like that's where I live. For me, it's about storytelling, specifically interested in stories that redefine and expand the narrative of Blackness in America. That's where I really love and live. I'm doing a lot of theater acting right now, but I want to get into television and film. If the AMPTP would ever just, get its life so we can come back. Apparently, right now, we are already hitting like the milestones for the WGA strike. Like, the most recent WGA strike before this one was 100 days. We're already at like day 80 something. I
Right.
think 81 or 83 at the time we're recording this. And then October 2nd, I believe, would make us at 150 days of the WGA strike, which was the longest WGA strike on record. And apparently, in the 100-day one, after 21 days is when the AMPTP came back to the negotiating table. It's been 80 something days and the negotiations have not resumed. So I just feel like we're going to be closer to that 150 days, maybe longer. But if they ever want to get it together so I can have my TV career, I would appreciate.
I believe I saw that that the studios are open to renegotiating with the
SAG. Yeah, I saw that.
But so the fact that WGA is
they said we don't need writers, and I'm like, you absolutely do.
Absolutely do.
What's also crazy is how many people are in both unions. Like, there's so many writers who are in the Screen Actors Union and vice versa, where I'm like, I'm not saying one union is more important than the other at all, but I'm like, it seems like negotiating with the WGA would almost be like, I don't know, you need the written material to do it, and at least some of the writers are actors, versus like, you negotiate with SAG, which you ain't got no writers.
Right.
What we gonna be directing? Again, like I said a couple episodes ago, what are we directing? Nature documentaries and spicy content. There's nothing else.
This will be stricken from the record, but if they start making reality TV shows with celebrities,
you mean like College Hill?
That would be crazy.
They did know it's Celebrity Edition now.
Oh.
College Hill came back, and the last 2 seasons have been celebrities.
I did not know.
I have not watched it because I like the real College Hill.
Right.
Regular, old college students just slumming in the dorms. That's what I need. But yeah, back to the plot of the episode. So we talked a little bit about who we are. What are some things, I'm kind of like combine a few of these questions into one, but like, what would you say, what are the career updates that you have right now? What can you share with the people? What are you doing right now? What are you excited about developing, working on?
Okay. Well, I will say I did have my break into Hollywood this year. I did work on a movie, and it was nice. Hours were crazy, but I was enjoying myself, and good money. Like,
look at this. Come on, look at God.
That paycheck was pretty.
Come on.
Because funny enough, things are coming out, and it's just very interesting to look at a movie and be like, that man was standing right next to me. I know what. Yeah, no, very funny. But aside from that movie that I worked on, I have also been writing. I have a finished treatment for a movie. I wrote a pilot that will be out by this year.
By this year?
Yeah.
I love
so I've had some exciting things. How about yourself?
I was gonna say, wait, before we go to me, what about the comedy show? You have the shows.
Oh, right.
You're doing the shows. I was like, that's the big one.
I just do so much, I was in a comedy show with up and coming comics, like the hottest under 30.
Don't put quotations around you and your friends
No,
who
I
are
was
up and
quoting the
coming
show.
oh. Did
I
you
was
put
just quoting the advertisement. So then,
Oh, okay. I was like,
yeah,
don't quotation mark yourself.
hottest under 30. It was nice. I definitely killed at that show.
Love that.
Um, yeah, clips coming soon. I posted one. You can find it if you
Did you
follow me.
listen to me?
Yeah.
I've been trying to tell Caleb that he just need to take the clips from his comedy shows and put them on the TikToks and the Instagrams, and that way he can be Matt Rife too. I'll be trying to help people.
You do. So comedy, writing,
Mm-hmm.
acting in there, production assistant.
Per.
I think that summarizes my past highlights.
What?
Now, if we move into the actress
Yeah.
over here.
It's been a year, guys. I am quite literally a full-time working actor and have been for the strong majority of this year. And that is the best thing ever. Like, it's just great. Top of this year, I was in 2 shows at the same time. Crazy. Do not recommend, except I'm literally going to do that again. So obviously I recommend it. But I did a children's theater show with the Smithsonian Museums in DC for Black History Month. And I played a 6-year-old Ruby Bridges. My voice is still shot from being a 6-year-old Ruby Bridges. Then I understudied Clyde's at Studio Theater by Lynn Nottage, which is like just came off Broadway last year and was like the big show of this season. Understudied that in April. Took some time, I'll say off, but like I just wasn't really employed. I was underemployed for a hot second. And then I booked Drunk Shakespeare, and I have been a professional drinker with a serious Shakespeare problem for a little over a month now. And I'm very, very excited about that. It has been a lot of fun. I really love Drunk Shakespeare. I love my cast. I love the show in general. It's just a lot of like, it's Shakespeare, but it's also improv, but it's also a comedy show in a sense. And I've just been learning so much about myself as an actor and really just like finding my voice in ways that has been fun, but also super helpful because everything that I've been auditioning for, I've also just felt different about over the last few months. Like I said, I booked something else. I can't say too much about it, but I am making my regional theater debut this year, and I'm very, very excited about that. We'll talk more about it when we get there, but yeah, I'm just really in that space. For those of y'all who know and you heard the first couple episodes of the podcast, I had to make a new TikTok this year, and so I made the new TikTok. We are at like 460 followers in like 3 months of me having this account, I think, going into the 4th month, which is surpassed what my old TikTok account follower count was. So I'm very excited about that. The engagement rate is much better. So we love that. And we're just trying to, obviously for me with the whole strike thing, that has changed a lot of my TikTok content. And so I'm just trying to figure out like how to transition into scripted content. I'm gonna do a little bit more like skits and fun things like that on TikTok. So I'm just trying to figure out what that transition looks like. I'm also going to attempt to be a vlogger. I'm trying to be a YouTube girly because everyone knows the real money is in YouTube, but also the longevity is in YouTube. And so just trying to figure all of that out. But I really am just like in a good space where I'm like, I wake up and I really don't leave my house unless it's to go to rehearsal or to perform or like hang out. Like I'm not like going. I have a couple like random shifts still of my front of house job that I'm just like keeping because I'm like, Ariana, listen, money is money. You can never have too much money. You can never have too much money. Okay, if they want to pay me $40 for 3 hours, I'm gonna take that money.
The studios could have too much money.
The studios have too much money.
I'll say that.
They have too much money. The rest of us, we can never have
the rest of us, though.
Yeah. So, like, it's just been, like, a great thing where it's, like, I literally wake up. Like, yesterday I woke up, I had an audition, and then I edited some content, and then I went to rehearsal, and then I had a show. And I was like, this is a perfect day. Like, who needs anything else?
Wake up, smell the roses.
Literally. I don't know. It's just, like, there's something to be said for, like, hitting your mid-20s. And just like your brain starts to like develop, and there's like
Mm-hmm.
a clarity, but there's also just like a calmness that comes of like you're where you're supposed to be at the time you're supposed to be there. And like, had I book drunk Shakespeare when I was 21, like I tried to, like I'd have been burnt out from it by now. But also, like, was that the best environment for me at that time? Maybe not. Like, we don't know. We'll never know. But like, it may not have been the best thing for me. Or like, spending a year where like I was working like all of these part-time jobs and not making a ton of money, but not broke, but like not making a ton of money, not necessarily doing what I wanted to do. But it also taught me like I can wake up and be at work at 5 a.m. and be a person. And like just so many things I got from that, but also just like a reinforced respect for like everybody that you see doing a job that is not necessarily the job that they want to do. And that's not the job that if they had all of the resources and all of the money and all of the access that they would do, but they've made a decision to financially support themselves. And like, I just feel like we should treat people with respect in general. But like, when you look at it through the lens of like, this person at Walmart may actually want to go be doing astrophysics, or they may want to be a football player, or they may want to be an actor, and you'll never necessarily know unless they, you know, make it big and you see them somewhere. But like,
Right.
just like, I don't know, I think there's such a stigma around like these like hourly and part-time jobs where people are just like, those people. And it's like, everybody doesn't have the luxury to be able to just like follow their dreams.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you look
Because
at it through that extent, it makes it like easier to be caring and kind.
right. Because there are plenty of people who are not working office jobs that have a college degree. And like, usually the idea is, oh, college degree, you're making money, you're making bank. First of all, we have negative money with them debts
The student loans that they don't want to forgive.
that they don't want to forgive.
Literally. Except for I found that thing that I sent you that like I need to go look at too, about what they were like. If their school lied to you about what they could offer you, you might get some money back. I'm gonna have to go see them. Come take at least 20K off my loans for the lies I was told in grad school, please.
Right.
Take that 20K off right now. But it's just like, I don't know. I've been trying to like, Caleb and I are reading, we're going to do an episode on it in a couple of weeks, but we're reading this book called Burn It Down by Maureen Ryan about the Hollywood industry and the issues with Hollywood, looking at Me Too, looking at race, looking at all of these different things. And there was a chapter early in the book. I don't know how far Caleb is into the book because I've had it, I think, a week longer than you. So like, there's like, she talks a lot about who is allowed to dream, what is considered the generalized American perspective. Spoiler alert, white, middle class men mostly. But she talks a lot about like who's allowed to dream, who is able to be paid next to nothing as an assistant in Los Angeles and can make that work because they have parental support, or who can even skip that stage and just go into higher jobs, and who, like Caleb and I, had to move home and are trying to figure it out while still also trying to create savings to be able to go to in LA or in New York or in Atlanta or wherever. And like, she just talks a lot about that. And I think like, because I live it, I'm a little bit more sensitive to it. Mm-hmm. But I also just like try to think about that. I'm like, I was working at Orange Theory for a long time. And if you didn't know, you just thought I worked at Orange Theory, versus like there were members who got to know me. And I'm like, no, actually I'm an actor for real. I'm just trying to figure it out right now. And I think that's a really important thing, that just like in your 20s, you start to like see the world differently and you start to see yourself differently. And I think once you start kind of moving into alignment differently, you're able to just like feel different about it. Like I'm looking at my vision board right now, and so many things on my vision board are currently happening. And that's just like, yay.
Right. That's such a great realization to have. Like, wow, dreams are coming true. Shout out to our amazing editor, Lewis.
Yes.
It's been a while since we gave him a shout out, and I just know like the amount of work that comes into.
But also, we could really do some team shout outs and talk about career updates, because Laura McDonald, who's Caleb's little sister, who's also she does the graphics for our social media and things like that. She just graduated from theater school.
Right.
So now she is a nice outside trained professional actor. But then Ayanna, our producer, I don't know why I had to pause like that. My brain had like a moment. Ayanna, our producer, she also got into the One School, which is an advertising program for Black and Latinx folks, to teach them the tools that they need to, enter into that career path. And she's about to graduate. So honestly, everybody doing what they need to do. We love to see it. And I just wanted to take a quick pause to shout all of this out.
Because we could not do this alone.
Could not, because I'm gonna tell you now. That's why we ain't had an episode in a couple weeks. I wasn't trying to edit nothing. I wasn't trying to listen to nothing. I don't like to hear my own voice, y'all. Okay, I like to watch the episodes after they're already like done and out, and therefore I can't like cry about anything anymore. So yeah, we need the team. The team is going up. Very, very exciting. Speaking of the team, speaking of the pod, what would you say? Like, what do you see the next steps for the pod being? And then, comma, what do you think your next steps as a creative are?
Okay, so next steps for the pod. Creatively for the pod, considering the challenges that we are now facing amidst this strike, I think some creative goals that we're looking at is definitely like how we are going to steer away from reviews and the likes and try to still deliver content that is still purposeful and something that like we are fully invested in, as opposed to just pushing things out, because that's not us.
Yeah, agreed.
If we feel iffy on an episode in the slightest because of lack of
Maybe we'll
research,
scrap episodes. It's about 3, 4, 5 scrapped episodes in the vault somewhere. Scrapped
Right.
all for different reasons, but scrapped nonetheless.
Scrap nonetheless. So I do think that that's going to be something good. The social media following will keep growing.
Yes.
It's been growing, but
it's been growing a little bit.
Always room for growth, especially on social media.
Yeah.
And my next steps in my current journey, to write more and do more stand-up. Like I also want to get my social media following up more as I try to push that I am a stand-up comedian. I do have stuff scheduled to record, so content creating as well. But I would definitely say out of content creating, writing, and stand-up, I think stand-up is my next biggest step that I want to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And your thoughts?
I think definitely I agree with what you say about the pod of like, we want to make sure that we're putting out purposeful content that is educational, but also still entertaining, making sure that it's not just like putting out episodes to put out episodes. And I think it's hard because like there's the balance of like, we can do career updates every so often. We can talk about issues, but it's hard to talk about tropes because like we can't say like, let's do an episode on the angry Black woman, which we've done before, but like we couldn't do that again because you have to be able to mention characters and shows. You can't really talk about the body of work of an actor without talking about the things that they've been in. So it is very difficult. I think it's kind of shifting right now to like the business like of Hollywood and like trying to figure out like where is that exciting and where is that like nobody cares but us. Like I don't think that we need to do an entire episode like breaking down SVODs and VODs and do all that. That was boring to me in school. Like I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, that just took me back to the exact classroom. I know exactly where I was sitting. That.
So it's like it's a little difficult. I mean, I think like we said, we're reading a book now that we're gonna do an episode on, and like we may turn into a book club for a second. Like we might be reading books about the industry or books like there's a book that I read earlier this year that I told Caleb about called NSFW, which is a fiction book, but it's about a young woman entering into Hollywood in the era of Me Too and things around that. And so like there are options. We could read biographies by actors. Like there's options, but like a book club to an extent might be what this turns into for a little bit, and just trying to, of course, pick things that are interesting, even if you're not inside baseball with it, and pick things that are shorter in some ways, because like we can't read a 400-page book every week. Like that's just not sustainable or feasible with everything
Not
going
every week.
on. No, not at all. Like I've been killing that book, like the book that we're talking about. I've been reading it. Like I've been reading almost a chapter a day. There's been a couple of days I fell off, but like great read. But like I could not crush that book in 1 week and then also have meaningful things to say about it.
Right.
So just trying to figure out like what that balance looks like. But you know, we're moving that way. Definitely want to monetize the podcast. I would love to start making some money through advertisement, through fan support, whatever the case is. But we'd love to be able to start making money so that way we can, you know, pay our Riverside bill and it not be like everybody Zelle me $60. You know, that'd be nice. Or also to be able, like, at the end of the year, I'd love to, like, nobody's getting paid right now, but I'd love at the end of the year if we could, like, give gift cards to folks to, you know, just recognize their time and their time, their talent, their energy. Because it's not easy to do all this. Almost all of us have jobs. Full time is relative in terms of like 2 part-time jobs is a full-time job. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we all are working and we're all doing so many other things that, like, you know, this is not our only job. And so I just want to be able to appreciate folks. So we'd love to be able to monetize from that space. I think for me, I'm in Drunk Shakespeare, having a good time. I am doing another show, hoping that I'll be able to book this other show. If I can do this little 3-show stack, it's up. If I get this 3-show stack, y'all not gonna be able to tell me nothing for a second. I'm just
nothing.
Like, I'm gonna be humble, laid out in church on the floor, humble, but just know I'm that girl. But I'm also just trying to grow as a content creator. I think for me, the road to 1K on TikTok is still there. I'm at 460 and it's August. So, you know, little under halfway, but it's only August 1st. So I still, like, there's still plenty of time. Want to be able to hit 1,000 followers, want to really see a consistent, like, I would love to consistently have 10 to 13% engagement. That would be lovely. That's really big to me, but be able to monetize from that. I've had, you know, a brand opportunity with a big brand that reached out to me and that fell through, but I was excited to, like, be in a space where, like, a big brand was coming to me and saying, like, we want to work with you because of what we've seen you do. So
yeah,
want to be able to be in that space of, like, 1K monetization of my social media platforms. Want to have some brand deals. There's, like, an energy drink that I would love to work with. And there's, you know, some makeup and skincare companies that I would love to work with. So just really trying to build myself up in that content space. I'm going to start a YouTube. I really should have been vlogging today because I could have done it today, but I'm going to try and, like, get my YouTube together and get that up and going as, like, a vlogger. I'm a big shout out to my girl, Monet McMichael. Okay. I'm a Monet McMichael stan. Those of us who know, we know, love her, love Jalen Noble. But Monet McMichael, like, I love her. I just love the way that she vlogs. I love her experiences. Like, I feel like I'm engaged and I feel like I am a friend, but in a respectful way where I'm like, because sometimes y'all be in her comments asking crazy questions and I don't like that. Don't like that at all.
right.
I just love the way that, like, she captures life. And I just want to be able to, like, I think for me, it's like vlogging is a means to an end in terms of, like, yes, building your fan base. And that's a great way to monetize and all those things. But, like, I also love the fact that, like, 10, 20, 30 years from now, like, when I have kids, they want to know, like, who was my mom in her 20s? Like, I could just pull that up. Like, I love that as a time capsule in that way. So I'm trying to be a vlogger, trying to get it together. We're going to figure it out. I don't love to edit, though. That's the thing. I really don't like editing. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. But yeah.
I might, because I've been thinking about picking up editing jobs for, like, companies. So, like, if you vlog and you wouldn't mind someone practicing, I might want to do that. Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk. Because I don't, it's like editing for TikTok is one thing. It's just short. Like, it's just like cutting clips off and whatever. It's like that versus, like, editing, like, Monet McMichael vlogs be 45 minutes plus.
Yeah.
And that's just, like, too much. My brain doesn't get that. And yes, it's pretty chronological, but it's like I know I was supposed to be vlogging, like, my first drunk show. And then I was like, okay, cool. I vlogged it. I know where the holes are,
Mm-hmm.
so I can story tell in to fill in the holes. Have I done that yet? No. I'm gonna get it done. That
Yeah,
video
no.
will come out soon. But like, it's just like that kind of like, just too much.
I have another editing thought that I will share
Mm-hmm.
after dark, after hours. But for now, I think we are going to end this episode.
Oh, you mean offline? I was like,
Yeah.
after dark. And then I'm over here like, what? And then I started singing the Drake song. And I went so low. No one's gotta know. No one's gotta know.
But
I
no,
know Drake
this
is gonna hear that one day and be like, who is this girl? And why can she not sing? Like, that
one
was
day.
bad. I can't wait to meet Drake. I feel like it would be, I don't know if you guys have seen the interview with that white girl, Bobby.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how, like, that was an interview, but that's really how I feel like I would interact with Drake. I'd be like, so she should have, now it made me so mad when he brought up her like missing the 1-year-old's birthday party for this interview. Because if she was me and I was her, I'd have been like, weren't you the same man who was hiding the world from your kid and hiding your kid from the world?
He said,
That's exactly what I would have said.
nah, because
You can't talk big shit. Ooh, I didn't make the whole episode without cussing. You can't talk big shit when we had to find out that you were her dad from a diss track.
From a diss track is crazy.
By Pusha T.
Like, when would we have found out?
Because if Pusha T hadn't told us, what do we know about this baby?
What do we know about? I couldn't. I was gonna.
We wouldn't know a lot of things without Pusha T. Honestly, Pusha T really did a service. Pusha T did for rap history what Lin-Manuel Miranda did for APUS. Because you remember a whole lot of facts about Drake, don't you?
A whole lot.
Mm-hmm. On that ridiculous note, guys, Caleb and I have things to do today. So we're going to get out of here. If you want to follow the podcast, follow us at No Sleep Till Hollywood on the Instagrammies. You can follow me, Gaelyn Smith, at GSmitty with 2 T's and 4 Y's on anything with an @ symbol. If you want to buy tickets to Drunk Shakespeare, that's at the link in my bio.
And if you want to follow me on socials, probably see some of my jokes that I've been talking about. You can follow me at Caleb Subtitles.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, this has been another episode of the No Sleep Till Hollywood podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And I don't know why I'm singing because y'all know I can't sing, but good night, good morning, good afternoon, bonjour, bonsoir, adios. Bye, guys.
Lights off.